And welcome to Under the Microscope. I'm your host, Marcus Benjamin. I'm also the founder of A&M Career Consulting. And today I have a very special guest with me today. His name is Joey Colasito. He is a financial professional and he works with Transamerica. But before I bring Joey on, I just want to tell you a little bit about A&M Career Consulting. We are a non-for-profit organization, and our main focus is to provide career consulting to underserved and underprivileged communities throughout the New York area. To reach us, you can send us an email at info@amcareerconsulting.org. You can also visit our website at www.amcareerconsulting.org. Joey, welcome. Welcome to Under the Microscope, sir. How are you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful, Marcus. Thank you so much for the invitation. I'm just honored and privileged to be on your meeting today.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And it's greatly a big pleasure to have you on Under the Microscope. So for our viewers, what we'll be doing today on Under the Microscope, we'll be taking Joey and his career path and his profession under the microscope. And pretty much what we'll be talking about money, right? So we all know money is the vehicle or the gas that gets the vehicle going, right? And Joey will be able to bring to light a number of things from his perspective and from his profession to help us as individuals who might be wondering or struggling with our financial status or trying to create a nest egg for retirement, you name it. But Joey is here today and he'll be able to bring to light some of the many questions that we have. He'll be able to bring some answers to those questions. So Joey, we know, well, I've known you for a little bit, and I know you shared some stories with me about your history as it pertains to before you got into the financial business. For the sake of the viewers, I would love for them to hear that story. So can you share with our viewers, how did you get into becoming a financial professional, and what was the motivation?
Yes, well, thank you for that, Marcus. Actually, my journey started in February of 2000. So I just crossed over 21 years in the financial industry. And at that time, if we could rewind the clock and go back in time, when I sat down with a financial professional from the company that I'm working for today, Transamerica Financial Advisors, at that time, my wife and I, we were 4 years into our marriage. We were young adults in our late 20s. We had two babies. One was 3 years old. The other one was 4 months old at the time. And she's a registered nurse by profession, my wife, Joanna. In fact, Marcus, we just crossed over yesterday our 25 years of marriage.
Congrats, man. Congrats.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
So awesome.
Yes, thank you. And I was in the hotel business. I was in management. And even though we had good paying positions, good paying careers at such a young age, we were living paycheck to paycheck. We could barely pay our mortgage payment. We could barely pay for our credit card debt. We didn't have anything in savings, nothing in retirement. But we were just broke, and we got to a point where we were just sick and tired of being in that financial position, with all the stress, the worry. When is the next bill going to come in, and how are we going to pay for that? And we finally swallowed our pride after a few attempts of a financial advisor. His name was John, by the way. He after several attempts of trying to book an appointment with us, we finally gave in, and he came over to our house, sat us down at our kitchen table, and the rest is history. That very night changed the course and the trajectory of our financial life. And it was just so educating that evening, that one evening in my home on a February night, we were ready to make a change. And it was all because of the education that I received in that, I think it was like a 2.5 hour appointment. And it just made total sense to me to get my finances in order, because I didn't understand how money works. And I could just imagine how many Americans and people are in that situation. And I believe that people are in their financial situation is because they only know a few things about money. And that's where I come in. The reason why I got into the financial industry was because somebody turned my life around 21 years ago, taught me money basics. But the thing is, I applied most of those concepts, and maybe 90% of them over time. And what I found out is that, if you want to reach financial security, you have to do it step by step. Not a lot of people can do it all at once. You just have to cover certain areas, and there's 6 areas that, if we have time today, I'd like to go over that.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, we have to know what's going on. There's some statistics out there that I would like to talk about when it comes to American families today. There are financial challenges, financial concerns. Personal debt. Last year in 2020, there was a study that was done in July of 2020. And research showed that the average American household has about $6,000 in debt, and that's credit card debt. And the average household carry an average of almost $10,000. And that may not seem like a lot, but let me tell you, there's some that have maybe a few $1,000s, but then I've been in this business and I've seen as much as $80,000 in credit card debt. So there's a huge concern when it comes to debt. College costs is on the rise. The average private college tuition for 1 year is about $40,000. And for public colleges, for in-state residents, it could be anywhere between $11,000 to $12,000 a year. And if you're out of state, that could be $27,000 a year. But for a four-year college, the average now is about $211,000 for college tuition for 4 years. So college costs is on the rise, and your viewers probably know about the student loan debt crisis that we're in as well. There's also a retirement issue as well. 69% of workers are confident that they can live comfortably, but here's the thing: 7 out of 10 workers say that their level of non-mortgage debt is a problem when it comes to their retirement. Social Security, that's a big one. You could go to their website, and the trust funds began to decline in 2020 in the Social Security trust fund. And they're predicting that the reserves will become depleted by 2035. And that's what, in about 15 years? And when looked at separately, the disability insurance trust fund reserves will be depleted in 2052. And totally, the reserves may become depleted by 2034. So what does this mean? People need to take control and take full responsibility of their retirement. And Social Security was not intended for you to become wealthy. In fact, the Social Security taxes that are coming out of your paycheck are not to be saved for your retirement. It's to retire the ones that are claiming benefits today. Does that make sense?
Make a lot of sense.
Back in the day, I thought, when I was getting Social Security taxes coming out of my paycheck, I thought that was money being invested and put away for me. But no, it's for the current retirees. And then, the rising cost of living for somebody that's 45 years old that's earning $100,000 a year and they plan to retire in 20 years. And let's just say inflation averages about 4.5%. They're going to need more than $240,000 to equal that same $100,000 today. So a lot of people, they don't factor in the cost of living, the rising cost of living when it comes to preparing for their retirement because of the diminishing value of the dollar, right? And then lastly, there's unexpected losses. There's a lot of people out there. Last that I saw was that there's over 100 million adults with no life insurance whatsoever. So when a wage earner or breadwinner of a family passes away, the family will feel financial devastation within 30 to 60 days. And that's very, very sad. Why? Because people, they don't understand the value of life insurance and what it can do. It's not there just to have a decent funeral for our loved ones, but it's to provide financially for our loved ones that were depending on our income. So those are just some of the concerns. But yeah.
That's huge.
Go ahead.
That is like a serious punch there, because when you think about it, the average person don't really think about 95% of the things you just said.
That is true.
Because there are so many other things that occupy their time in the now that they don't think that, okay, 20, 25 years from now, from this day, right, where would I be, right? I want to have a family. Do I have financial security for them? As you mentioned, in the event that, you do pass, the breadwinner do pass away, and feeling that impact within 30 to 60 days, that can be agonizing, devastating to a family that's already grieving, and, that already suffered a great loss, and now having to battle with life itself, thereafter the passing of their loved one. So thank you for sharing that. That's really, really huge. And I think people really need to take heed and take that ownership, as you said, take responsibility and take ownership, and don't sit and depend on a Social Security check that who knows if it will be there, when that time comes for us to retire. And one thing you said that I never knew, right? And I also was in that mindset until now, that when I pay Social Security, that, okay, it's for me when I retire. I never knew that is for the people who are retiring now.
That's correct.
Wow, that's huge, and I'm sure a number of our viewers are people who viewing this episode of Under the Microscope will be shocked themselves. This is some good stuff, man. This is serious.
Yes, thank you.
All right. So, wow, I had to shake that one off there. That was some good information. So, a question: how do you build relationships with your clients, and how you guide them through tough situations?
Yeah, Bill, I believe that with any business, especially if it's a customer-oriented type of business or service type of business, I believe that relationships are very, very important. When I sit down with somebody, I want to make sure that I that I'm there for them first and foremost. I have to let them know that I have the best interest in their financial future. And I think that's the same thing with any other industry. We need to make sure that we're in the best interest for our clients, for our customers. And the way that we do that is really just finding out what's important to them. I find out what's important for them and their financial future. I want to find out what their goals are. I want to find out what their dreams are. I want to find out what their current situation is, and if they have a current plan or if they're working with another financial provider. I want to learn all of that stuff. And the key to building that relationship is really just asking great questions, relationship building questions, getting to know them as a couple or them as a person if they're single, what they do for a living, just certain things so that I can make a connection with them and find that commonality. And when we do that, of course, when they feel comfortable with me and I feel comfortable with them, I think it's off to the races from there. But it's all about building that trust, that rapport, and that importance of building relationship and doing in the best interest of them. So I think that's very, very key.
All right, thanks for sharing that. So of all the clients you have worked with over, what, 21 plus years, right?
Yes.
Have you ever come across, whether it's a person or a couple, that, as you say, rewinding the time back to when you saw yourself in that person in that current situation? So in other words, is that you consulting someone, you're meeting with someone, you're trying to learn, what it is they're trying to do, and you see yourself.
Oh yeah, there was a number of them. Exact situation, I wouldn't say there was a lot, but there were a number of them. I would say maybe a handful, maybe less than 5 over my 21-year career, where they were in the same exact situation, same age range. Again, we were in our late 20s. We just started a family, young baby boys, and they too had credit card debt. And not only credit card debt, I didn't even mention the student loan debt that we had, and the 2 car payments that we had, plus a mortgage and all the other bills that come with home ownership, right? And it's amazing when we could connect with that. And when I can say, you know what, my wife and I were in your exact situation back in the year 2000. And this is what we did to improve and get out of our financial situation and get out of our financial rut. And when I found that commonality in those few couples, today, I'm proud to say that they have turned around their financial life. Why? Because they related to exactly where we were when we started in the year 2000. So it's amazing.
I mean, that's a good story, when you can actually see your situation unfold in front of you after so many years, and to be able to use yourself as a reference, right? So I think as human beings, when we're able to see an end product of a situation, that helps motivate and create that trust, if I could put it that way, in moving forward with the relationship.
Absolutely.
That's really good. So in talking money, a lot of people probably have this misunderstanding that a financial professional, that they do life insurance, they do retirement fund, IRA, different thing, mutual funds, and they also spend time in the stock market and invest in people's money and all sorts of different things. Can you bring some clarity to that? So in that way, our viewers could understand what is a financial professional, right, compared to what the perception people have.
Sure, sure. I think the perception that most people have is, first and foremost, that there is a big cost to just get a consultation. There's a lot of great financial advisors out there and a lot of great financial firms out there. Of course, they may have a fee for a consultation. Some of them may have a free consultation. Some of them may not charge a consultation fee whatsoever. A lot of times, a way that the financial professional gets compensated is through the financial providers that they are working with. And a lot of times there's no out-of-pocket from the client directly to the financial professional.
Okay.
So it really just depends on who you go to and where you go. And like I said, there's a lot of great firms out there, a lot of great and trusted advisors out there. Another thing is that when it comes to the stock market, it really just depends on who you go to and what their expertise is. Right. So, for example, if somebody wants to know more about stocks, they would need to go to some type of licensed stock broker, somebody that's licensed in securities that has a Series 7 and such, or there's some other series of licensure in the securities business that some people have that can talk about stocks. Then there's others that can just talk about what they call variable contracts, and teach people about mutual funds. And those are more so of a passive investment. Some of them, just depending on who you go to, can be an active investment, which means that they're actively monitoring your money, whereas a passive investor, they're just letting that money go in every single month and letting that fund do all the work. And then there's some that do everything, that does insurance and investments. It just depends on the licenses that they carry. Okay. But for the most part, you may have just an insurance agent, and then you have the financial professional that can do insurance and investing and retirement plans. So it really just depends on who you go to. Okay, so just make sure that that before you sit down with anybody, or when you do sit down with somebody, you just ask them what they're licensed in and what their field of expertise is.
Right. I think that's always a fair question to ask, especially if you're going to put, your trust in someone to handle your hard-earned dollars, right? You definitely want to know, that person's capability, their qualifications, and their ability to do right by you. So, in terms of the services that you offer, I see that you offer services in insurance protection, retirement, income strategies, and business strategies. Can you share with our viewers a little bit about that, about each one of them?
Oh, yeah. Yes. Thank you for asking. I can provide, and we can provide, when I say we, our firm we can provide a consultation. At least for me, I do a complimentary consultation. And that's through just building the relationship initially, of course, and finding out what our clients' needs and goals are. And when it comes to the insurance piece of what we do, we can educate people about life insurance, the different types of life insurance. We also do long-term care insurance. There's also disability income insurance that we can do. And even though those are different types of insurance, what I like to do is really just educate them on how it works and introduce them to the concept of insurance. Because a lot of people, one of their biggest concerns is how much does it cost? Or how much do I need to invest on a monthly basis? And a lot of times we can actually put together a strategy that's based on their income, their discretionary income, and what's affordable to them. It can be structured in a way that we can do that. As far as our retirement strategies, we could set up all types of IRAs. We could do rollovers. We can do traditional IRAs. I can do Roth IRAs. I can also set up, depending on the state of where my client is, I can also do mutual funds to help people just start up some type of savings investment. And then when it comes to business solutions, there's retirement strategies for business owners, insurance strategies for business owners as well. Those are the business solutions that we talk about, because a lot of times business owners, they don't have a retirement strategy. They don't have an insurance plan. And we can also work with those entrepreneurs to make sure that they put things in place.
Thanks. That's huge, because for someone who's running their own business, there's a lot of energy that's put into their business. They tend to take care of everything around them, and leave themselves for last, right? And that is really, really important that that you are doing that for especially business owners, helping them to put aside something for retirement. And that kind of leads me to a little bit to my next question. In the midst of the pandemic, the coronavirus, which has caused or devastated so many families across this country and across the world, including, I've lost someone to COVID, my sister-in-law, on May 1st of 2020. And, it was devastating. But coming back to the question, in the midst of COVID, how has that impacted your business and that relationship with clients? Sure.
There's a saying, certain situations can be a blessing and a curse. For some industries out there, they were really devastated. Some companies had to go under, meaning to say that they had to fold and went out of business because of the pandemic. A lot of industries had to lay off or furlough employees, and so people were out of a job. Unemployment was at an all-time high during this pandemic and still is. And for me, I hate to see anybody lose a job because, or lose someone, a loved one, and especially due to the pandemic. And there's a lot of families and industries and businesses that were affected by this pandemic. Our business, the financial industry, and I could only speak for our business, is, our company as a whole increased. I can't say that, I can't give you the exact number or the exact percentage, but I can tell you, since the pandemic, about a year ago, we have increased in business. And why is that? Because we can actually do business virtually just like this. We're working remotely from home. And that's our edge, because before the pandemic, we were a face-to-face business. And we never knew that something like the pandemic would have us pivot to the virtual world. And let me tell you, back in April, I had to close my office. Um, let me use the correct wording. I didn't have to close my office. The office happened to end the lease during the pandemic, so we did not renew.
Right.
We did not renew the lease in our office. Okay, so that was a blessing. Why? Because now, out of over 60 agents that were working, and it was about 80, maybe about 80 agents out of that office, we all pivoted to working from home. So instead of meeting our clients face to face, our clients were more so open to meeting virtually,
Right.
using the technology. And I think this is the best social distancing that we can ever do.
Hey,
Yeah, they don't have to drive anywhere. They don't have to come into contact with anybody,
I don't
and
have to
people
wear
are
a mask.
more open. Yeah, with no mask, and people were more open to doing it virtually and sitting down virtually rather than in person. So it saved people on gas and having to travel to an office where they could potentially be late for an appointment or get lost or what have you. And the risk of maybe getting in a car accident or anything like that. But just as long as we had a simple click of a link and it put us onto a computer, and we can do the same thing in person as we can over a Zoom conference. And another thing is that most of our transaction is electronic, and it could be done through email.
Wow, that's huge. So with doing business online, how has that improved the relationship with customers, especially going through the pandemic and dealing with a sense of uncertainty?
Yeah, well, I think to answer your question, I think the effect was the good is that we can Zoom or do a virtual conference anytime, at any time. Okay. But what I miss about it is the human touch, is the face-to-face aspect of our client. I miss shaking people's hands. I even just giving them a hug. The human aspect of a relationship, of a business relationship. I miss those days.
Right.
And someday we're going to get back to that. And who knows? With everything that's going on, it's really unpredictable at this point. But the effect was the loss of the human touch. So that was the downside. But the good side about it is that we can still help families get on track or get on a journey to their financial independence or their financial security.
Oh wow, that's huge. So we're coming down to the end of this episode on Under the Microscope, talking let's talk money. How lucrative it is for people, especially in this environment, to get into the profession that you're in.
Absolutely. Thank you for asking. I believe that is very lucrative. And here's the reason why. When anybody comes into our business or our industry, and depending on the company, okay, for at least for my firm, I would say, and I'm just speculating, about 90 to 95% of our field force, our agents, are working from home.
Wow.
That's number one.
Right.
Number two, there's low barriers to entry. Okay, we got first of all, you have to make sure that there's no background issues. Okay, as long as individuals have a good background, a clean background. They could come in, pass a couple of exams to get their license in our industry. And all of the training is online. And when it comes to lucrative, since we can all train virtually, people can get licensed in our industry and become an independent agent with our firm. I could only speak for our firm. I can't speak for any other firms out there, but there are opportunities, and we're always looking for good individuals, entrepreneur-minded individuals, people that can be independent, people that are driven. And here's the beautiful thing. I don't require a college degree, nor do I require experience. So again, as long as an individual has a clean background, they're looking for something new, they want to get into a lucrative business, a lucrative career with the potential of making a great income, they could certainly get to the financial industry.
Wow. So if there are individuals out there who, after hearing our conversation, who might be interested in probably having that conversation with you, they've probably been thinking about it for a while, and they probably hearing this might give a click that, okay, yes, I need to make things right, in terms of financially and by their family. How can they reach you? And then the next question is, if there are anyone out there who might be looking for a career change, right, and they're interested in creating some independence, right, in terms of work, it's kind of working for yourself, working from home, and still be a part of a great team and a great leader like yourself, where can these individuals reach you?
Absolutely. Actually, there's a link on your website, Marcus, if you want to give your website.
Oh, yeah.
The website address, they can actually go to the link on your website and go through there, and from there, that link will lead them to my personal website. So that's number one. Mm-hmm. And then number two, they could go to my LinkedIn page. Just look up my name. My name is right there on the screen, Joey Colasito. And if you could just search for me in LinkedIn, you can send me a personal message, and I can get in contact with you there.
Awesome. So as Joey alluded to, when you visit anmcareerconsulting.org, you go to independent partners, and you're going to see financial advisor. You just click on that drop down. You're going to see Joey in all his glory looking at you, and the link will be right there. You click on the link, it takes you directly to Joey's website, and you'll be able to set up an appointment on the website. It's very, very easy, user friendly. So even if you're not a computer person, it's very easy to navigate. So you wouldn't have any problems. I've been on it a couple of times, obviously, because I'm hosting him on my website, but also, yeah, it's easy to navigate. For all of you all who listening, Joey is a great guy, a stand-up guy, someone that will have your best interests, definitely. Just from his story and from where he came from to where he is now, will definitely be able to have that impact in your life. So Joey, it was a pleasure. It was a pleasure to have you under the microscope and taking your career and your business under that special lens and dissecting it a bit and bringing to light and educating all of our viewers as it pertains to money. All right, we love to talk about money, but you're the guy that does be about it. All right, so before we end, is there any last thing you would like to say to any of our viewers?
Yes. Well, thank you, Marcus, first and foremost, again, for just allowing me to be on your podcast today, on your virtual meeting today. I really appreciate it. Thank you for your trust in me. And again, I look forward to anybody that's interested in getting into the financial industry, making a career change, or even just getting in just part-time. I started part-time while I kept my full-time job in the hotel business, working 50 to 60 hours a week. I started part-time, got my licenses, and it's been great ever since. And for those of you that want to learn more about how to get your own personal finances in order, you can still go to my LinkedIn page and through the website and get in touch with me there. Complimentary, as I mentioned earlier. We can help answer any of your questions, or perhaps look at some options that are available to you. Okay, so yeah. But thank you again, Marcus, for your time. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you, Joey, I know you're a busy guy, and for carving out a little bit of time to spend with us today and help to educate all of our viewers. That is pretty much priceless. And thank you for that. What we will do is right under this video in the description, we're going to put the link, which will make it even more easier. So it's right there in your face. You'll be able to click and you go right directly to Joey's website, where you can connect with him. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this comes to the end of Under the Microscope. Let's Talk Money with Joey. And it was a pleasure.
Yes. Thank you very much, Marcus.
You're welcome. And ladies and gentlemen, this is A&M Career Consultant Under the Microscope. Again, my name is Marcus Benjamin. I'm the founder of A&M Career Consulting. And in order to reach us, you can visit our website at amcareerconsultant.org, or you can also send us an email at info@amcareerconsultant.org. Please, everyone, have a safe day. Wear your mask, maintain that social distancing. We need to have you around. And if you need any help with whether it's your financial aspect of it, or you need help as it pertains to your career, we're here. We're here to help you. We're here to guide you. Joey, have a blessed day. All the best, and we'll be in touch.